Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast. I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2025. The album Dad AF. Viva Las Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, so I had to sing that song just once. And the other night, Alex's cousin, my husband, his cousin, she took us, because she lives here in Las Vegas, she took us to the Pepper Mill Grill, which is like this place that mobsters used to go and stuff. And Elvis had his own booth there, and I sat in it, and I got a picture and everything. So anyway, today we're going to talk about Jaclyn Hill. Now, I could do an entire rant video about conversations that I heard in the pool today, because as you can see, I've been at the pool all day long today. But I heard all these conversations, and they were cracking me up. I was telling my husband. So there were these like 6 or 7 girls that were here for like this bachelorette party. I know this because they had bathing suits on that all had sayings about wives, and then all of the bathing suits were black except for one, and that one was pink. She was the bride, I guess. I don't know. There's all these girls running around the pool, and they had bathing suits on with like bride's veils, you know what I mean? And I was like, never would you ever on a good Tuesday catch me with that. But I hope you're having fun. Congratulations. Welcome to married life. That's why we're here 8 years. But anyway, these girls were having this conversation by the pool about baby names. Listen, okay? I know, okay, I always say don't judge, right? But if you're next to me in the pool and I'm listening to your conversation, chances are I'm judging you. I'm just gonna say, okay? And these girls were having a conversation and I was judging them because they were talking about their favorite baby names. And this one woman, she was, I should say girl, but anyway, this one woman, girl, she was obviously the expert on baby names. And she was just kind of like sitting back, and she must have been the popular girl of the group of them in high school or something, because she was like, well, I like neutral names. And the other girls were like what? And the girl goes, I like Brian for a boy or a girl. And I was like, what? But then I was kind of like, I do too. Like, I wanted to be part of the conversation. And then this other girl, she was like just wanting to enter the conversation so bad. And she was like, I want like a really original name. And the girl goes, well, what's an original name? And she goes, I like Hazel Grace. And I was like, wait a second. Isn't that the main character in Fault in Our Stars? That's pretty original. So anyway, I could do a whole video, a rant video, just about conversations that I've heard in the pool today. So anyway, and my lisp is back because I bit the side of my mouth, or I have a wisdom tooth pushing through. I don't know which one it is. But people in my vlog were like, is this lisp back? Did he get a lisp again? What's going on? Yes, and it's annoying. I'm 47 years old. So anyway, let's talk about Jaclyn Hill at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. That really wasn't that long of an intro for you. Got a story time, and you got an intro, and now we're going to Jaclyn Hill. Hey Jaclyn, how are you? She's living her best life, isn't she? Okay, so as we know, Jaclyn Hill is back to social media. She's back, and she's sharing her life, and the ups and the downs, and all that kind of stuff. So I noticed that on Twitter, she came back the other day, and let's see, this was on, let me make sure I have the right date, on August 20th of 2019, she posted at 12:16 p.m., hi babies. Now, do you think that Jaclyn is just like sitting around? This is like, I leave my comment sections open because I want to have a conversation in the comment sections. That means I want you guys to share your opinions. And that's really what I'm doing today in this video, is I'm asking for your opinions. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm just going to put out the information. I might have an opinion or two. I can't imagine doing a video where I don't have an opinion. So anyway, you know, I said this in my vlog last night, but my husband and I, we got food and we brought it up here, and we were watching Entertainment Tonight last night. One of the worst TV shows in the entire world, because it's basically all about the Real Housewives at this point, which I do love. But anyway, so, and if you didn't know, Bethany Frankel is leaving the Real Housewives of New York. She's my least favorite. Ramona's my favorite. So anyway, I love her eyes. I relate to those eyes. And she's always nibby in somebody's business. She's always getting in somebody's business, and I kind of relate to that. So anyway, okay. But anyway, so we were watching Entertainment Tonight last night, and they were like talking about Ben Affleck's sobriety, and they were showing pictures of him, and then this girl got engaged, and they were showing Snapchat receipts and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, they're basically just drama channels. Don't be coming for us drama channels. We're just like Entertainment Tonight. I mean, I may be a low rent version of Entertainment Tonight, but listen, we're basically Entertainment Tonight, but on YouTube. So anyway, I noticed that Jaclyn Hill came back, and I was like, do you think she just sits around and she's like, 12:16, I'm back in the game. So she came back on Twitter and she posted, "Hi babies," and this was her introduction back, and all these people said stuff underneath her. Of course, mostly it was people posting their looks because they want Jaclyn Hill to notice them, so that then she'll retweet their looks and then they'll get famous because Jaclyn, of course, you know, everybody respects her opinion right now. Just saying. So anyway, then they'll get famous because Jaclyn, they're like, notice me, notice me, notice me, and all this kind of stuff. When has Jaclyn Hill ever, like, done a whole lot? No, I'm joking. Okay. So anyway, but then what was interesting was she came back and somebody had tweeted this picture out, and I'm not going to show the picture, but it was like, it looks like this monster kind of from like The Grudge or something like that, and then somebody said no one, and then like no one said anything, like nobody asked, and then Jaclyn, and then it says in quotation, "Surprise, Bia. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me," and it's like her picture from when she was at her crab dinner, okay, where she got the crabs. Okay, so anyway, and then she retweeted this, and she said, "I know that I'm supposed to be this ultra tough human because I'm on social media. But seriously, guys, some of you are so harsh and so mean to one another, it's hurtful. Watching the way you speak to each other and to me is shocking every day." Okay? Well, I sat there at first, I was kind of like, it's really interesting to me that right out of the gate, she could have like retweeted, somebody said, "I'm so happy that you're back, I missed you," and she could have retweeted it and said, "Thank you so much." You know, she could have, you know, retweeted, "Hey you guys, thank you for all the support," like she's done on Instagram. You know, she could have retweeted anything out there that somebody, she could have retweeted a look. She could have retweeted a creative look and said, "Hey, you inspire me, thank you for looking up to me, and it really means a lot to me, you know, and thank you for your continued support." But she chooses to take this one nasty tweet, of which there are thousands of nasty tweets to Jaclyn Hill on Twitter and on Instagram right now, and she chooses to take that one, right, and retweet it and make a statement. And I kind of feel split about it, to be honest, and I'd really like to know what you think about that. Like, that's her coming back to Twitter. Like, that's the statement that she's gonna make, right? That she's gonna come back with some attitude. I feel really split about this. Business-wise, I feel like it's a really bad move, okay? Like, I feel like her coming back with some attitude is kind of like I understand what she's saying, and I agree with it, right? Like, I feel like from the beginning I said this. If you have issues with the lipsticks and the way that she has handled herself as a CEO of the company, I think that criticisms, constructive criticisms of her as a CEO is stated nicely, and if stated in a way that is constructive, or even to be direct and somewhat a little harsh towards the CEO of a company, when you're talking about consumers and customers, I think is fair, okay? But as a person, to come for her, and a lot of people, it's not about the lipsticks, it's not about the company, it's not about the CEO, it's not about any of that. A lot of people come for her as a person, right? So I think that can be a little bit cruel. I actually don't even think like this is like the worst thing that's out there, so it's interesting to me. But then it makes you wonder, like, when is enough enough? Like, you know, I kind of like the fact that she's standing up for herself and saying, I've kind of had it, okay? Like, I understand that you guys are upset with me. She said this. I've apologized time and time again. I will continue to apologize, but I've kind of had enough of it. Like, and I just want you guys to know that I've kind of had enough of it. And you know what's interesting to me about this is that most influencers don't really say this. Influencers. She's influencing you to buy those lipsticks. But anyway, most influencers don't kind of really take this human stance and say, I've kind of had enough. Like, enough is enough. Like, the way that people treat each other, like, I like the fact that she addresses that on there, you know? And it kind of, I think, in all honesty, it opens the conversation, okay? Not for Jaclyn, not for her fans, but maybe for all of us out there that like YouTube. You know, when is enough enough? Like, you know, I've made 15,000 videos on Jaclyn Hill at this point, right? And I will continue to make videos about Jaclyn Hill because I am a drama commentary channel, right? And I do believe that Jaclyn understands this. I'm a drama commentary channel. I make videos on what's going on out there. If something is going on, I'm gonna make a commentary channel, a video about it. That's just how it is, right? Just like Entertainment Tonight. When something's going on, they're gonna report on it, okay? But you know, like, even if that person, like, has like kind of had enough. But I do think it's all in the presentation and the language of how it happens, you know? And I've said this in my last couple Jaclyn videos. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens next with her. I think that the problem, okay, was that her return to social media coincides with Jaclyn Cosmetics, which I don't think that anybody at this point can divide Jaclyn Hill from Jaclyn Cosmetics. I think because she said, I'm going to focus on what I like doing, which is getting back to YouTube, uploading on YouTube, whatever. But she's done very few videos, okay? She did her back to school deal, the drugstore makeup, whatever that was, okay? Affordable makeup with brushes that were super expensive. It's the same kind of Jaclyn Hill thing that she's always done. But she said she wanted to get back to doing all these videos, but she really hasn't posted anything. And so people are like, you wanted to get back to what you're doing, but you're not posting anything. And yet then your Jaclyn Cosmetics is saying that we're coming back with newer and better products, when there are still people who are frustrated with the way that the situation was handled before with the previous release, right? So I think that a majority of the problem is that people don't know how to disconnect Jaclyn Hill from the brand Jaclyn Cosmetics. I think it's a huge issue. And I really think going forward, like, it wouldn't be a problem if there had been no problem with the lipsticks, right? If the lipsticks had come out and it had been this major success, then it really wouldn't matter. Like with Jeffree Star Cosmetics, there have been very few issues with Jeffree Star Cosmetics. There's been a few through the, you know, times. There's been some things that have come out, some allegations about, you know, the hair and oppressed thing. That was a couple years ago and some stuff like that I remember. But like, it wasn't the story that became Jaclyn Hill's thing. You know, so for him, it's not difficult. You know, for Manny with Lunar Beauty, it's not difficult. But I do think one of the smart things that Manny did was that he called it Lunar Beauty. I think it's really, I think it was a really smart move that he didn't call it like Manny Makeup or something like that, which that sounds kind of corny anyway, doesn't it? Because you can then kind of separate the person from it, right? And if anything ever happened and he had to step down and give Lunar Beauty to somebody else, then they could say, well, Manny's separate from this at this point, even if he really wasn't. But when you call it Jaclyn Cosmetics and your name is Jaclyn Hill, people can't separate the two. So whatever she does as the head of, whatever she does as a human being is going to be directly related to Jaclyn Cosmetics, right? So when people have issues with Jaclyn Cosmetics, they take those issues to Jaclyn Hill. And then people say, oh, people are being cruel to her, people are doing this, whatever. Well, I don't know. Like, she would be getting the same criticism had this not all happened. So she says it underneath there, and then a bunch of people say things, and you know, you are beautiful, ignore the haters, and I am so sorry you're going through this. People are so cruel. I don't understand how they get enjoyment by bashing people and being mean. Yes, Jaclyn effed up bad. She knows this, but talking about her business is completely different to trolling and bullying another human being based on looks or other superficial SH I took. I get one dislike on a video, and I'm on the verge of tears, so I can't imagine being YouTube famous. Thank you, Natalie. Does she follows me, I think, yes. Thank you, Natalie, for using YouTube famous. Anyway, and then all these people are like wanting her to unblock T-Spill because apparently she blocked T. She went on a kind of a blocking spree of like some drama channels, and I was like, I couldn't believe that I made the cut. I think that deep down, like Jaclyn and I have talked in the past, and she's been very nice to me. I think deep down that Jaclyn knows I care about her as a human being. I care about all these people as human beings, right? And I think the thing is that I don't really care if you're the CEO of a makeup company. I don't really care if you are the greeter at Walmart. I don't really care if you're an attorney, if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad. I don't really care if you're a waitress working somewhere or a waiter. I don't really care who you are. I don't care if you're a YouTuber with, you know, 20 million subscribers. You're still a human being at the end of the day, and this stuff is hard. It just is, okay, emotionally. And I think Jaclyn knows that I feel that for her. I still feel like there's a lot that has not been addressed with the business, but that's kind of beating a dead horse at this point. You know, and like I said in my last video, if she's not going to address it, she just needs to move on, right? So that's where I'm kind of split with this tweet. It's like, should she have put it out there or should she not have put it out there? I'd be interested to know what you guys think. But she cannot catch a break, let me tell you guys, okay? So she goes up here, and then the next thing she tweets out is, currently on a plane, and the TV is having the news reporting a plane crash. Who's in charge around here, right? Now, it's interesting because at first, people are like, okay, so tell me why when I was on a cruise, they showed Titanic on movie night. First of all, I would lose it, okay? Like, that's a lot. I won't go on cruises anyway because of Titanic. It's like my biggest fear is sharks. I cannot imagine being on like a nightly cruise in the ocean and them showing that movie. We were just actually talking about this the other day because the hotel that we're staying in, they do on Monday nights at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. I say it wrong. But anyway, they do movie night on the pool. And so my husband's cousin, she goes to it a lot. And I said, do they ever show Jaws? Because I'd be out of the water. I'm just telling you, okay? Nah. And Jaclyn says, absolutely not. And then this girl goes on and says a bunch of stuff. And then somebody says, way to show sympathy for the crash victims. And somebody else said, I don't think it has anything to do with lack of empathy. If I was on a plane, I wouldn't want to see anything on the news about a plane crash because I would be freaking out myself. And then people are going on and talking about this. And then somebody says, that's nice. Can I get my refund for the contaminated lipsticks I bought? Or are you going to block me like other people in my position? Now, what's interesting about this, okay, is that Jaclyn is wanting to separate herself, the business, from the human being, right? But she doesn't respond to this. Jaclyn Cosmetics does. Why is Jaclyn Cosmetics so involved in Jaclyn Hill's personal Instagram? Okay, like this is where it becomes kind of messy. And they said, hi gorgeous, we are so sorry you never, I mean, is this Jaclyn or is it Jaclyn? Hi gorgeous, we are so sorry you never received your refund. We aren't able to DM you, so send us a DM and we'll get this resolved. And somebody said, I hope you're aware that people aren't able to DM you either. I think it would be necessary as a brand with a Twitter page to do that so customers can ask their inquiries there, especially since many people seem to not have been refunded yet. And somebody else says they probably forgot to turn that back on when they came back from hiding. And it goes on and on and on. And it's just, you know, it's a lot. And I have to tell you that underneath here, people are saying a whole bunch about, you know, the plane and her lacking empathy about the victims on the plane. It's like she can't say anything, right? Or do we think that she's lacking empathy about that, right? Or does she just not even really see, like, the thing is, the position that she's in, she really needs to think about, like, everything that she's putting out there. I know, like, that's difficult, right? Like, you have to think about that. Like, you know, and is this a smart move or is it not? Or, you know, or she could have just put, like, I don't know. Maybe she didn't need to tweet it at all. But people literally say so many things underneath here. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? Exactly what everyone said. Wait. When you release contaminated lipsticks and what they're still saying while waiting for a refund. And then somebody responded and said, she released contaminated lipsticks? What? Somebody said, hopefully not if you are current CEO boss skills. I can't even understand what that says. Okay. Somebody else said, way to show sympathy for the people in the crash. Somebody else said she doesn't care about anyone but herself. She only cares when it's time for us to give her money. And somebody else said she's still not relatable. And then somebody said, and ooh. Okay. And somebody else said, I mean, and then it just goes, there's nice ones and then there's not so nice ones, right? So it makes you wonder. But then she goes on here and then somebody said this little thing about eyeshadows and palettes and whatever, and then people go in here and it's again people asking the same things. Now, what's interesting about this is that Jaclyn just released a picture on her Instagram, and it was her and her sister, and they were at a Cubs game in Chicago, and she put this long statement underneath there about mental health, which I'm not going to comment on that or get into that at all. If she's struggling, Jaclyn, I hope you find the help you need. She talked in there about being in therapy for a long time. I wish her the best on that. You know, I think there are a lot of people that are really struggling with that issue, and I think that is great that she's sharing her story on there, you know. What was interesting to me was that in the comment sections underneath of the Instagram picture was that there were, you could tell that that your comments were being deleted, and the reason you could tell was that there were like ats at somebody, but that person's like an initial comment underneath the Instagram wasn't even there anymore, just the response. And people were coming and it was like just glowing response, glowing response, glowing response, glowing response, glowing response. The thing is, and I know that like Jaclyn is like, I want to put out what I want to put out, and I don't want anybody mean to say anything to me anymore, and I just want to be able to move on. But you're gonna have to just kind of let this pass by. I mean, like, you're gonna have to just allow people to have their say. Sooner or later, people are gonna move on. But if you continue to block and you continue, like, everybody's saying block T-spill or unblock T-spill. Unblock T-spill, you know? Manny said something on his tweet. I actually, I screenshot it, so let me read it for you really quick. I'm just just not big on the blocking. I don't know. If people really want to have their say, they're going to say it. But Manny tweeted something out and he said, hold on, I had a screenshot. Blocking people is self-care. And let me say this, if you aren't adding to my happiness, you are taking away from it, and I don't want to see it, period. You know, here's the thing, right? I think it's no mystery to anybody that T-Spill is a huge channel, right? By blocking her, you're just basically poking the bear, Jaclyn. Like, I don't really know what you're thinking about doing, like, in the future, but if there's another, like, tragedy, if there's another catastrophe that happens with further makeup, do you not think that T-Spill is then definitely going to make a video about it? Like, I mean, seriously? Like, you've blocked her. You've blocked a lot of people, right? Let people have their say. Let people say what they're going to say, and then move on. And if you don't like it, then focus on the positive. Focus on the people that do love you, because the reality is, when you look underneath her Twitter and her Instagram, there are tons of people out there that love Jaclyn Hill, that have stood by her, that will continue to stand by her through all of this, right? And it's surprising to me how much she focuses on the negative, and I'm sure it's difficult. I'm sure it is hard. Every time she opens her Twitter, every time she opens her Instagram, there's more negativity there, and maybe she can't say anything about the business stuff. Maybe she doesn't know what to say. Maybe she doesn't know how to say it, right? And we're not going to go back 10 videos of mine and say she needs to hire PR people or she needs to do this, right? But if you are going to move on, let people say what they're going to say. Move on, okay? Act as if. Act as if you have moved on and it's not bothering you. Act as if, you know, well, when I'm talking about grieving, like I talk about grieving a lot on my Peterisms channel and in my vlog, and I'm a believer that we don't move on, that we move through. So let me correct what I just said. Jaclyn, if you're going, just like I'm talking to her like she's watching this video, there's just one of you watching it and it's Jaclyn. You know, if you're watching this, or to anybody out there, right? We don't move on from issues and things that have happened to us, right? And act like, oh, it never happened. You don't move on. You move through. And somebody that I knew years and years ago, their son passed away, and tragically from addiction. And I talked to her when my mom had passed, because she was like, you know, came to the funeral and stuff. And I said to her later, I said, people are telling me I need to move on, I need to move on. She goes, no, we never move on, we move through. And we carry remnants of what's happened with us, the good and the bad, and we learn from it, and we, you know, it becomes part of who we are as a person. We don't just ignore that. I think Jaclyn wants to ignore it and act like it didn't happen and move on from this. And I think that she's going to have to accept the fact that this has happened and move through it and carry it with her and allow it to be part of who she is. This experience is part of who she is at this point, okay? The negativity, the positivity, all of it is part of who she is as a person. You can't just block that out, right? You can't just act like it didn't happen. And people are going to continue to bring it up. They're going to continue to bring it up 5 or 10 years down the road. Jaclyn's never going to escape this, okay? There will always be people that remind her of this happening, and you know, at some point she's going to have to continue to move through this until she gets to the other side. You know, like she's driving in a rainstorm and she's waiting to hit when the sunny skies are ahead. And there are good days ahead for Jaclyn. There are really great days ahead for Jaclyn, you know? And there were a lot of people that said, if you think this is the worst thing that's gonna ever happen to you in your life, you are really misguided and lacking gratitude. And there's a lot of that to me that I really truly do believe. And I think at this point, I think that she has to surround herself with the positivity. I think she has to focus on the positivity of the people that really, really do love her. Allow people to say what they're wanting to say. Address it if she wants to address it, and move through it. And allow herself to move through it, you know, and feel it and move on with her life, you know? Or move through it, you know what I mean? But like, continue with her life and continue to live her life and continue to do new things, whatever, you know? But she needs to listen to people. Like, this is the thing. She's not listening to the popular vote. The popular vote right now is do not release new products. She's not listening. And therefore it translates as lack of videos, releasing new products, and coming back with attitude does look like, I don't really care about you people out there that I offended. It doesn't matter how many times she apologizes. Her actions do not meet what she is saying. And so it looks like all she cares about is the money and the release. And that's where people are seeing that. And I think you can be on the outside and love Jaclyn and still see that. So anyway, I don't know. I wish she had people around her that were really willing to tell her what she needed to hear and not what she wanted to hear, because I think that she's in a position where she needs to hear some things that would be really helpful to her. So anyway, let me know what you think. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.